It's time to dive beneath the surface and into the minds and hearts of your favorite celebrities and pop culture icons. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hi, guys. Welcome back. And it's so good to be back. Guys, I'm so excited to be here and be back in my element. It's been a crazy couple of weeks, so thank you guys so much for bearing with me. A lot of change has been happening. We finally got our sign up, but I was MIA because, as you guys know, every Friday I do a show called Popping Off on Pop Culture with Pops. And Pops had 5 seizures, so he wasn't necessarily in the best health. Oh, I get choked up talking about this. Wasn't necessarily in the best health, so I went to go visit him in California. What I wasn't expecting was to be bringing him back with me to Florida, and that's exactly what happened. So Pops has better health care here. He's being well taken care of. He is in the best spirits, and he's ready to jump back on Friday. So I guess everything is positive. I just need a little bit more rest. This has all been good, all good things. So we're living glass half full and just, I guess, staying positive. I also want to say a special thank you to Kempire, because Kempire did match the proceeds that we made on our past episode with Pops. So that was exciting. And thank you so much. He donated an extra $150 on top of the $50 that he already donated and matched everybody else's super chats and donations to the vet. So I'm going to go post a receipt of that in I think a week or two. That way, when we make our donation, I have it all at once and I can post his receipt as well. Guys, I just want to say thank you so much for all of your love and support and for hanging in there with me. If you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button, show some love. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link for you guys. That way, I'm not the only one on here. I want you guys to join me. Here we are. Okay. Kempire, I see you in the room, guys. I see, Kim, I see Jason. Hey, guys, love you guys. I just dropped the link. I would love to have you guys join me if you're around. And let's talk about some 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After. There are so many couples on this season. It's so hard to kind of keep up, but it's been an interesting season, one hell of a season. I want to start, though, with one couple who I kind of find to be hopeless, but I'm rooting for them, Kalani and Asuelu. Obviously, we know that Kalani has been trying to make this relationship with Asuelu work, even though on the last season that they were on, watching them on the reunion, Asuelu had a little bit of an attitude and he was walking off the set. He was walking off because I think he feels misunderstood, but at the same time, I think she feels like he's not really there for his family. She wants him to step it up, be a man, support your family. And we don't live in these dark ages of, hey, I'm man, you're woman, you home and cook and clean, and I don't have to do anything as long as I'm there for you and provide. I have Dorit on. I have a few other callers on. Again, I dropped the link. Shannon Van, get it all in. If you're around, if you're not at work. Kempire, I need you on this one. Go ahead and call in. I'm going to start bringing everyone up, and then we can start addressing these couples. Guys, again, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. Let's do this.
Oh. What's going on?
Hey, I just want to say again, thank you so much. I'm going to be posting the receipt here soon. And I wanted to acknowledge the fact that you said you were going to match all of the donations on our Popping Off with Pops show, and you did that. So thank you so much.
I didn't do a Garcelle.
I know. And you said that too on the Instagram. You didn't do a Garcelle. But I mean, it means a lot, and you didn't have to do that. So I at least want to acknowledge. And I know you didn't even do it for the acknowledgement. We just really appreciate you.
I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate that you do that every week. I told you that before. I love it, and any way that I can support it, I definitely want to.
Hey, we'll keep you around. All right. So you obviously watched the episode, I hope, right?
I did.
Okay. We were talking about Kalani and Asuelu, and they had not so much a surprise visitor, and I kind of wonder if this is a little bit of a storyline, but they had Kalani show up.
Yeah.
And Kalani just got straight to business. She was saying that I feel like you guys shouldn't rush into moving in together. I feel like you guys have a lot of stuff to work out. I think you guys should maybe start by renting. How do you feel about Colleen? Do you think that she's too outspoken when it comes to her sister's relationship?
I do feel like it is a little bit of a forced, pre-produced storyline because of, they need it. But I also think it's awkward that they want to move out. Are they making that much money that they can even rent a home, never mind buy one? So I don't know the realistic part of that storyline, but I am looking forward to Asuelu's mom and sister coming. That's what I'm looking forward to. This little pre-produced situation,
Okay. Well, we know that the mom and the sister, they bring the drama. And even I have to say, one of the funniest moments in TLC history was when the sister went after Kalani when she was walking away. And she's like, come back here, Kalani. I will beat you up. I was thinking in my head, girl, if Kalani turns around and swings on you, you're going down.
Kalani looked like she was ready for a fight, too, because she had her hair up.
She did. She came ready. And I think that the sister, honestly, if it came down to that, which we're not supporting violence here, but she might bite off a little bit more than she can do when it comes to Kalani.
I agree. But I am looking forward to them possibly getting into it again later this season. That's the only thing I'm looking forward to in regards to their storyline. This whole other... It's hard to watch Asuelu because I literally feel like I'm watching a child, like she's raising her child that she's married to.
I know. And when he was sitting there crying and he's like, I want to be better. You believe me, right? And he starts like, I thought he was going to take the tissue to wipe his eyes, but he starts blowing his nose at the table. I'm like, you really do have a big man baby. That's what she has. She has 3 children.
And she said that he uses tears like that to manipulate her. And I'm like, that sounds like a kid.
It really does. I don't necessarily know if I think that this couple is going to last. But before we move on to the next one, do you have a prediction?
Well, he's literally 25 years old. She's 32. I completely forgot the age difference there. And we already know women are a lot more mature than men. I don't see this relationship lasting, but I do see them forcing it to last because, first of all, she said in this last episode, traditionally, those types of, in their culture, they stay together. But she's not the type to stay in a situation if she's unhappy. But I do think she's going to stay in it a lot longer, partially because she has 2 kids by him.
And she's not very traditional either. I mean, she's constantly trying to preach and also teach him this whole I'm man, you're woman bullshit. That's not going to fly with me. So fuck that. And we're going to get you there eventually. So she has a lot of work on her hands.
Did we acknowledge the Up and Adam sign in the back? Did I miss that?
Hey, I just did 2 pre-records that I haven't dropped yet. But no, I got my Up and Adam sign up. I came back with Pops. I brought him back from California, which we weren't anticipating at all. I was about to get on a flight in honestly, it was probably about 15 hours. And we were just sitting around talking and Pops was like, oh, I would love to be in Florida. And I was like, well, let's book the ticket. I didn't think he was going to book the ticket, but we booked the ticket. We had a connecting flight. We flew from California to Atlanta down to Florida. Of course, as soon as we got to Atlanta, they had a 5-6 hour layover. So we were supposed to get into Florida at 12 a.m. We ended up arriving at 5:30 in the morning.
Oh my God.
They had no restaurants open. Pops was in a wheelchair. He travels with numerous amounts of medical bags. It was intense.
I can only imagine, but I'm sure it's really nice to have him down there.
Yeah, definitely. And his spirits are so high right now. I feel like he's so much happier being here and being around, more family and the weather. I think, in California, he came off like he was a little bit depressed, maybe. I don't know, but I saw him the other night. We went there for dinner and I introduced my dad to him and it was interesting, but he was happy. He was in a good place. So
the other day when he was on the Friday show, he had a lot of energy. So the fact that he's down there with you, I can only imagine what this Friday is going to look like.
Oh my gosh. He is, they say that, I'm no spring chicken. And he always says, they tell you the golden years are the best, but I think they suck. This guy is just on top of it. He always has an answer for everything. He's witty as hell. We love him.
We do.
That's all I can say about that. I do want to bring these up really quick. Natalie P, thank you so much for the super chat. Also, Color and Chat with Joanna. Thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate you. What do you say we move on to the next couple?
Yes.
Okay. So Elizabeth Andrei, this poor girl, she fell in love with this man who has an ego out the door. She's always fighting her family on his behalf, and he's kind of entitled. And when I say kind of, I could just scratch kind of. He's very entitled.
He is.
I feel bad for her in this episode. She's always fighting her family to like him. They're not going to like him. But at the end of the day, we have to hand it to Chuck. Chuck is trying to give him the benefit of the doubt in order, I guess, to see his daughter get the life that she deserves and be fully supported. But Andrei wants it his way. He's like, listen, I'll come work for you, Chuck, but I pretty much don't want to see you. I don't want to be around your kids. I know it's a family business. I don't want to work with any of them. I just want to do my own thing. That way you will eventually give me the $100,000 loan. It's like, dude, what world do you live in?
I love the fact that you really believe this storyline.
I mean, I don't see Andrei as an actor, and watching how pissed off he gets, I'm like, I think he believes it's a storyline. I think honestly, joke's on him. I think Elizabeth, Chuck and the whole family, Charlie and the sisters, I think they all got together and they're like, this is what we're going to do this season. I still feel like they're still trying to get a family Chantal kind of spinoff.
No.
And joke's on Andrei.
Because I do feel authenticity from him, but definitely not from the family. You could see them almost wanting to laugh when they're talking about these subjects. Even the brother, when they were having that conversation, he seemed like he wanted to laugh, like he wasn't serious in that moment. But Andrei seems angry half of the time anyway. So, but originally I enjoyed their storyline from previous seasons. This season seems like, no, your story is done. Not that interested. The family Chantel, I have to say, they have characters within the family, specifically Karen, that were interesting enough to do a spinoff. And I think that's why, they gave them a spinoff. I don't see it for Libby and Andrei, honestly.
Okay. Well, when she was trying to get Andrei to sit down with her brother, Charlie, and she's like, listen, in order for you to be a part of the family business, you need to have this conversation that we've been avoiding for the past year. We saw where Charlie kind of acted like an ass at the wedding in Moldova. And well, I mean, he did, definitely. He acted like an ass, but none of this has been addressed. And Andrei is obviously still pissed off about it. So when she brought the fact that, you guys need to have a conversation, that whole topic over to Andrei, after already drinking and being upset, he was like, no, hell way. It's not happening. I'm not sitting down with your brother. I don't owe your brother anything. I don't owe him a conversation. I won't work with your family. And I think at this point, she's ready to just like shake him. And I'm still believing the storyline. I think she's like trying to shake him and be like, dude, wake the hell up, because I'm sick of supporting this family.
Oh. I mean, I am happy to see Andrei working this season, because the last season we saw with them, him wanting to be the man of the house and at the same time not work was very uncomfortable to watch. I didn't like that.
No, he was very comfortable being the stay-at-home dad, which, listen, there's a lot of stay-at-home dads, and I applaud anybody who's a stay-at-home parent. But at the end of the day, they don't have the funds to necessarily be in that situation. She needs him to work. That was a part of all of it. So he thinks, and just to be fair, I tried real estate. Jason and I tried real estate in Los Angeles. He thinks he's going to, you watch $1 Million Listing, you watch HGTV, you're going to go out there and it's going to just come to you. Business is going to be booming. Well, a lot of homes, especially in Florida, they're flying off the market. As soon as they hit the market, they're off the market. People are coming in, paying all cash right after the pandemic. I mean, it's crazy over here. But at the end of the day, I just feel like he has no freaking idea what he's going to get himself into. I had no idea what I was getting myself to in Los Angeles. It's just like, put on a suit. I'm going to go show $1 million house. Somebody's going to buy it. It's going to be great. Nope.
You have to hustle hard in real estate. And if you're not a hustler, and he's not a hustler, Andrei is not someone that likes to work hard based on what we've seen. So I can't see him being a good real estate agent, never mind and owning his own business. I don't get that.
And I think that's also another thing that people sort of lose sight of. Owning your own business, it's not just like, oh, okay, I want to go out there and work for myself. You have to pay your taxes. You have to keep charge of your LLCs. I mean, there's so much that goes into it. And if you're not necessarily familiar with how that all works and how big of an operation that is, you're going to, technically, I feel like you're going to sink.
Yeah, especially he's not familiar with American laws, too, when it comes to that as well. It would be in his benefit to work for Libby's father and learn the business. And then maybe in a couple of years, maybe 10 years, start your own business.
Yeah, I agree. And especially because there's a lot that he can learn from Chuck. Chuck's been in the business for a long time. Even though we know how the fans are for TLC, they've outed they've outed him on, have you heard about that? Like alleged fraud in his business and running things not the way they're supposed to be run. Have you seen any of this?
I've heard, but I never really, because I'm not that interested in the family, because I just feel like they're very problematic, especially in things that they've said in the past on the show. So, but I've heard little things about that, but it's also not surprising to me either.
Right. I also think it's funny, real quick, I want to say two things about this couple before we move on. I think it's funny, one, that they all gave Andrei shit for running from Moldova after being let go of the police force. And then you see the fans who are shady as hell, and they post up like every single person in the family except for Libby has a mugshot. So there's that. And then two, does this broad think she's Erica Jane? She's Libby, Elizabeth, Eleanor. How many freaking names do you have?
Well, there's something very shady about the entire situation, and it's a whole family situation. Like I think it's Bethany that says this in New York. Are we in the mafia? Because that's the way it feels with that family. I feel like there's definitely a lot more. And when you come on reality TV, a lot of that gets exposed. We start talking about it and reporting on it.
And I mean, I know that we're not talking about Bravo or OC, but Tamara said a statement that just lives with me. And it takes a special kind of person to go on reality TV, but it takes a special kind of stupid to be engaging in some sort of fraudulent activity and put yourself on a reality TV show. So if in fact there is shady, or there are shady business practices going on behind the scenes, it will be exposed. And that is pretty stupid. I hate that word, but it is.
It is. And the feds are watching. The feds apparently have their own Bravo department.
I wouldn't be surprised. All right. Well, I do want to move on to this next couple. Guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. I keep on trying to add new photos to my display, but for some reason, it's not letting me. StreamYard has been a pain in my ass. I'll say that. You guys are starting to be on the same level with me as Lowe's. So when I start getting pissed off at a company, oof, okay. So this couple, obviously we know Mike and Natalie. We saw them on this episode, and Natalie tried to do something really sweet for Mike. She tried putting together, I mean, it was kind of sweet. It was kind of shitty too. I mean, the way that it was set up, but I guess it's the thought that counts. She goes and she gets these little boxes. She didn't even put them on the plate or anything. She goes and gets these little boxes.
In the lobby. Weren't they in the lobby of the building?
Yeah. Jason asked me, he said, what is that, the courtyard? And I was like, okay, you're shady as hell. But they were in the lobby, and she's like, love, I need you to come down. And he's like, okay, I'm coming. He would have said for what? So we know that this is already pre-produced, but he comes down and she's sitting there smiling like this. And she's like, I'm so happy you're wearing your ring. I feel like we're doing much better. And then it was like from 0 to 150 in 2 seconds. As soon as they start talking, she's like, I'm excited about meeting your friends in Vegas. And he's like, okay, yeah, I think that's going to be fun. I have a lot of friends in Vegas. And she's talking about snowboarding, skiing. And then she asks, do you think your friends will like me? Well, he could have easily have just said yes and then avoided this whole conflict. But instead, he was brutally honest and said, sometimes you come off a certain way and people might not like that. And she said, okay, well, how do you feel, or how do you think I feel when I'm around your friends who are sending you photos of their boobs? And then boom. Conversation over. Mike went upstairs. He starts packing his shit. He's leaving because it's his birthday and he wants to go home and take shots and just party with the guys. It almost felt like he wanted a conflict so he could just go hang out with his friends and do what he wanted to do anyways, because we know that Natalie doesn't really let him party like that. It seems like a lot of these women who come from Ukraine or Yara or Russia, like Julia, Julia loves to party. But like Yara, they don't want their man to sit there and just indulge in this sort of shit food that's not good for you and then just drink your life away. They're not about it. And she's not about it either. She did get him a bottle of champagne.
I do think him telling her that he's not sure that his friends would take to her well was actually sort of like a warning, like change up your attitude, be a little bit more open, be a little bit nicer. Because I've said it multiple times about Natalie. I don't think she intentionally means to be abrupt, but even when Tamara had said that she looked beautiful in her wedding dress, she's like, I know, like, girl.
Yeah. I had a friend from Serbia like this. I would tell her all the time. I'd be like, you look so pretty today. And I don't want to say her name because we're not friends anymore, but I'd be like, you look so pretty today. Yeah, I know. You look so pretty today. And she'd be like, I know. Why do you in America always feel like you have to give compliments? I know what I look like. I don't need you. You're not a mirror. Are you a mirror? And I'm like, Jesus, I'm just complimenting you. I don't need your compliments. She's like, that's why you guys are all so soft in America. I'm like, it's a freaking compliment. I'm telling you, you look beautiful. Nope, she wasn't about it. I actually went to the gym with her one time. It was like 7 years ago. And I was like, wow, you're like killing it at the workout. She's like, I don't need your words of affirmation. I won't ever give you a compliment again. Needless to say, we're no longer friends, but it is what it is.
Oh my gosh.
I do think
that's just culture or if that's just her.
Yeah, that might just be her. That might be her. But for Natalie, I do feel like it's cultural. You know, I think that Eastern European women are pretty, I don't want to say abrupt, but just straightforward in their delivery. Is that fair?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. And it might not just be Eastern European. I think it might be European because, traveling Europe and speaking with people that I know over there, it seems very cultural in regards to how we sugarcoat things. They're a little bit more direct.
Sometimes I wish we almost had a happy medium here in America. I wish we had like that, because we never want to hurt. I mean, not all of us, but 9 times out of 10, we don't really want to hurt each other's feelings. We do try to kind of sugarcoat it and make it pretty. It's like putting lipstick on a pig, and then we're like, here you go. So
I try to be at least direct with my friends. If I don't know you, then I'll probably put a little bit of a filter on. But with my friends, no, you're going to get. And I mean, I'm not hurtful, but I'm definitely going to be honest.
Yeah. My friends aren't, I'm the kind of person who gives you the cotton candy delivery. And I have friends, like I had one friend the other day. It wasn't the other day. It was like a couple months ago, but she was like, oh my gosh, like when you moved to Florida, you started, she's like, you're, like, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but you started to gain a little bit of weight. I was like, that is not some shit that you say to me. Get out of my face with that. And then all of a sudden, like I'm like focusing, I'm hyper focusing. I have mirrors all over my place because my condo is like it's out of the 80s. I have like these full body mirrors. I'm walking past like a psychopath, constantly staring and noticing things. I need the cotton candy delivery. Actually, maybe I don't need a happy median.
I probably would appreciate someone being straightforward with me and I don't think people are straightforward with me. It might be because I'm so straightforward. Who knows?
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. I want to move on to the next couple. I don't want to miss this super chat though. Marcella Booth Davis. Hey, Adam, been missing you. Thank you so much, Marcella, for the super chat. I also miss you. So anytime you want to call in, you're more than welcome to join us. Let's go ahead and move on to the next couple. Okay. So Yara and Jovi, I thought this was interesting because we saw the baby special. It just goes to show how close filming was because when we saw the baby special, she was bringing home the baby, right? And we saw Jovi's mom pick them up and put the baby in the car and everything. And now we're watching this episode, which was episode 3, right?
Yes, episode 3.
Episode 3. And the baby's only 4 days old. I'm like, okay, so this must have been really back to back, or they were already filming Happily Ever After and they just started filming them a little bit earlier, cut that out and added it into the past season.
Yeah, I think that might be it.
Okay.
Yara and Jovi, really? I think the producers were being lazy this season for Happily Ever After, and they were just like, let's just grab the 3 over here. They're decent. I'm not that invested.
I mean, I am and I'm not. I think that Yara is getting a little bit softer on us. I think that she's going to be an amazing mom, but I like watching the fact that she's trying to navigate this I'm the mother, you're the grandmother relationship with Jovi's mom, because I've seen it firsthand. I've had a lot of step siblings, and like I said, my dad's been married a couple times, right? So I've had stepbrothers who have had wives and they have these new babies, and then my stepmom tries to completely take over and coach them on how to be parents. And it's frustrating, especially for a new parent. You appreciate the help, but I think that they get frustrated because they still, at the end of the day, want to learn how to do it on their own. Yeah. And I also feel like parenting practices might be a little bit different in Europe than they are in America. I haven't been to Europe, but would you agree or disagree with that?
I mean, definitely. And culturally, I think in Europe, the parenting practices are different. But I have to agree with the mom in this particular instance, and maybe because I grew up here in the States. But it's a pandemic. You want to bring your baby out after being only 4 days old? It doesn't seem wise.
And then what were they saying? That people were outside on the street screaming?
Something like that. Like, I didn't. Yeah. That she had gotten very afraid when she had went out with the baby, and I guess there was maybe. I mean, they're in the middle of New Orleans, you
And
know.
you live off of Bourbon Street.
So people are screaming because they're drunk.
I mean, how do you think this is going to go? Just to be fair, you live off of Bourbon Street, and that is such a party city. Yeah. And then the fact that Jovi is sent to the grocery store to get fruits, vegetables, healthy foods, diapers. I mean, excuse my French, guys. And before I say this, I'm going to bring this up really quick. Kim Taylor, I will not be here Friday. Please give this to Pops. Love y'all. Oh, thank you, Kim. I definitely will. And I'll tell him that you said hello. He always talks about you and says he misses you. So thank you. I appreciate you. But I wanted to say, look, ass, talking about Jovi, how do you go there and selfishly get yourself a 24-pack of Corona? You got no fruits and vegetables. You get a bunch of junk food. And then you get the wrong size diapers for your child. If that better be pre-produced. Either that or he's a special kind of.
It felt a little pre-produced. I was like, wait, who's putting through oodles and noodles? Like, whose diet is this? And then when they panned to Jovi, I was like, oh, this sounds about right. But it did feel a little too pre-produced. I'm like, and that again, and I hate to keep saying this, it's the same storyline with Jovi and Yara. It's the same storyline with Julia and Brandon. There's only so many. Say again?
You feel like there's no growth.
There's no growth. There's nothing interesting. You know, there are certain people like Angela, who we will talk about, that are just naturally funny on television. She doesn't really have to do a lot. She doesn't have to really pre-produce things, even though I'm sure she does. But it's still entertaining to watch. Yara and Jovi, I think the realest moment that we had was the fact that he's leaving for 2 months and she's going to be alone raising the baby. I felt for Yara in that moment. I feel like Yara gives us probably more real moments. And I feel like the producers try to do sort of like this pre-produced Jovi is being irresponsible moments. And I'm just like, okay, I'm not that interested.
No, I agree with you on that. And, you know, speaking of Brandon and Julia too, watching them, and they're still in Vegas and she's very excited. She sees the big city and it's an exciting city. I personally hate going to Vegas. I've never enjoyed it, except for my mom's wedding. That was fun. But usually I just don't like being in Vegas, and I hate spending a lot of money, and I spend a lot of money in Vegas. So point is, I'm not a fan of Vegas, but she loved it. She was enamored by the city and the energy that came with it. And he's kind of a low key sort of suburbia
on the
farm guy who is very content. What I didn't like, and I understand both sides of this because she was a dancer and he's grown up on a farm. I feel like there needs to be a happy medium. And maybe Richmond is that happy medium. But what I didn't like is when she was talking about her aspirations coming into the United States. Look, dude, you could have easily have gotten a woman who was like Andrei and says, I don't want to work. I want to stay home. I'm good. And she could have worked on the farm and he would have been content with that maybe. But she has something that she wants to do. She wants to start wedding planning. The first thing he says is, please don't ruin somebody's special day. You're not fluent in English, and starts putting her down as if she can't teach herself. I think she was.
He could have said it in a better way. I get where he was coming from in that regard. Is like, you can't start your own business when you're not able to communicate with fellow Americans. I would have encouraged her in a different way. It's like, go be an apprentice for a wedding planner. Learn that. Same with Andrei. Learn the business. Then, and of course, expand on your English that way as well. But going out there when your English is already a little bit of a struggle, you got to work on those little things before you jump ahead. I'm going to start my own wedding planning business because you just had your own wedding.
Yeah. I mean, but at least she has a goal, And then
I love your positivity today.
I feel for her. She has a goal. Listen, I only say this because my whole life, I've always been told, work is work. It's not called fun, or else it would be called fun. Get a job, whether you're climbing telephone poles or you're working at the supermarket, whatever. You just need to bring in a paycheck. And I fought so hard to come up with this concept or something that I really love, that I can not only make money, but it made me happy and felt fulfilled while doing it. And if this is something that makes her happy, I think that he should give her the benefit of the doubt. It's not like she's already taught herself this much English. You think that she can't continue on with that education and learn more? I think that he just took it the wrong way, or he delivered it the wrong way, I guess is a better way to put it.
He could have definitely been nicer or a little bit more diplomatic in the way that he delivered that message. Probably the way that I just delivered it. You're like, go work for, a wedding planner. That should be her first step. And she should also be taking English classes if she wants to own her own business. Without a doubt, you're going to have to expand on your language skills. Regardless, like I want to expand on my own language skills. I want to make sure I'm speaking proper English as well, especially if you're in a business setting. There's certain terms and certain terminologies that are very different, especially in the wedding planning world, that she's going to need to understand and learn. And she'll learn that by being an apprentice for another wedding planner. But it's also the middle of a pandemic and weddings are canceled.
Wow, your glass half empty. Okay. All right, so we're gonna segue into our next couple, guys. If you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button, show some love. You did bring up Angela, and she does have that ability to constantly keep us entertained. I think she's freaking hilarious. She's very straightforward. Her line, "I am the classiest white trash you'll ever meet." I'm always cringing when she comes on, but in the best way possible. We know that she's in Beverly Hills and she's sitting down with the doctor, and then now she gets to meet the plastic surgeon, who she found to be obviously super sexy. She felt like he resembled her husband. His name was also Michael, and he fondled her boobs a little bit, and she was excited about that. I know it's making me uncomfortable too, but this was the storyline, so I have to address it. He was like, he was trying to be as professional as possible, and she would not stop with that smoker's cough laugh. She was going in, and she just kept laughing, and she was so excited. Michael was not all for it. When she told him about it, he was like, "Why is he touching my boobs?" I'm like, oh my God, what the hell?
That doctor was pretty sexy. He definitely was an upgraded version of Michael, and I can see her really flirting with him like she meant it. But God forbid the tables were turned and Michael was doing it. He would be dead.
Yes. Actually, I didn't even think about it like that, but that's so true. If the tables were turned, if Michael even looks at another woman, if he's like sitting there at a table and they're talking and he just like kind of dozes off, like I do this all the time when Jason and I are together. If, both of us are on our phones or Jason's looking this way, I don't care. But if I look this way, sometimes I'm like, if someone walks past, I'm like, oh shit. So I wasn't looking at anybody, and Jason's like, I don't care, go. You want to go. But that is not the case for Angela and Michael. Angela would rip his head off.
But she even owned it though. She owned it in the episode. It was like, if the tables were turned, it would not be cool on Michael's side.
Yeah, but I do applaud her too for kind of sending out the message in her own Angela Deem way of just letting us know, like, I'm doing this for me. I feel like this is going to help me breathe better. It's going to help me feel better about myself. And sometimes you just need to do things for yourself. So yeah. I think that's a good message to put out there. It's not like she's going out here and saying, I want to put my, chest way up here and I'm going to be a bombshell and I'm going to go out there and get me a new man. She jokes, but that's not what she's doing it for. She just really wants to feel better about herself. And if any message with plastic surgery comes out, I think that would be the route to go. That's a more positive way to look at it, as opposed to just looking in the mirror. And some people do this too. Like, have you seen on Botched the guy who did, I think 70 something surgeries to make his face look like Justin Bieber because he was so obsessed with Justin Bieber?
Yes.
It's like, that probably is not the healthiest.
No. Right? I'm surprised that they would even have doctors that would do something like that, but if you have the money. I was about to say, and some people will do anything for $1 and then they end up on Botched, and it is what it is. I actually had a friend who was on Botched. I don't want to say his name, but he was so excited, and he wanted to do a viewing party at Pump in West Hollywood. And he wanted everybody to turn the TV on and just watch his episode. And I find these episodes to be, it's like almost watching Dr. Pimple Popper. I think it's so grotesque. Like, I can't watch people being cut open. I can't watch things getting popped. I just cringe. I can't do it. Why do I think I know who the friend was? Never mind.
I'll DM you. But all right, so Angela and Michael, we see Angela in her confessionals, and we obviously see that she went through with the surgery and it was good. We also see her on social media. So while he's telling her, and you do have a risk of dying from the surgery, thank God she did not. And I'm curious to see, hopefully at the reunion, we get to see her in person. I'm sure we will. I want to see what she looks like.
I've seen pictures. It's very dramatic. Like I didn't mind her being a little bit heavier, but at the same time, it wasn't healthy for her. So I get why she did the surgery and why she did the follow-up plastic surgery, because it is going to be a dramatic weight loss, and she definitely needed to do it. And I hope she stopped smoking altogether. Look, Pops, are you hearing this? Because I thought of Pops when I was watching her trying to quit smoking, and she was like, one last one.
No, Pops has not quit smoking.
Oh.
So sorry, Pops, we're holding you accountable. He actually, when he showed up in Florida, he was not smoking in California. When he showed up here, I dropped him off at my uncle and my aunt and uncle's house. And as soon as they came to pick him up, he was like, yeah, so the doctor told me I can smoke 3 cigarettes a day. And they were like, he did? He's like, yep, that's what they told me. And I'm sitting there looking, and he looks at me and he's like, shut up, kid. Don't be a snitch. And I'm like, you know, like he gets you. He makes me nervous sometimes. He's like, no, be like the snitch. Don't go against the family. He's kind of like mafia, I feel.
Man.
When I went to go visit him on Saturday and introduce him to my dad, and we had a little cookout, small cookout that was safe for the pandemic, guys.
You're in Florida. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I feel like people here, they just lifted the mask mandate and everything. They just kind of do their own thing here. But when we went to go see him and he was smoking, I was like, Pops, are you supposed to have that? He said, why don't you mind your own freaking business? I was like, I just took you across the country, Pops. What are you talking about? Like,
it's the lack of cigarettes. Because even in this episode of 90 Day Fiance, Angela was saying, oh, if I don't smoke, I'm not going to be my, calm self. And I was like, this is you calm on cigarettes?
That's scary. See, if I were a producer, I'd be like, take those cigarettes away because I want to see what she looks like, not calm. Yeah.
Me too, though. I kind of do. As a viewer, I kind of want to see this unfold.
And I like how the psychic, the tarot card reader, was like so quick on it. And she was like, and stop sneaking your cigarettes. I'm like, whoop.
That's when we knew she was real.
Yeah, it's like they got your number, Angela. They got your number. All right, so moving forward, I want to go into the next couple. Oh, who do we even have left?
Brandon, Tiffany, and Ronald.
I hate that storyline. I hate that story.
Why do you hate it?
I'm just not invested in them at all. And I think she's a sweetheart, but I don't find them to be good for reality TV. I don't know why. Am I just being too harsh?
I think you're being a little too harsh, because I feel like their storyline is better than Brandon and Julia or Yara and Jovi, because I honestly feel like it's authentic to her. I feel like he really is a terrible human being. He's not trying to help support her. I mean, his family, including, self-adopted son. And I get it. I was a little annoyed that she went to the divorce attorney on camera like that, because my thing is, if you're not serious about divorcing him, playing with your marriage like that for reality TV is not cool.
I was thinking about that when she was doing it, and I thought it was so witty and on point for the divorce attorney to be like, listen, this sounds like a counselor situation. This does not sound like you're ready for divorce yet, because when you're ready, you'll know you're ready. However, when she kind of warmed up and she was like, you know what, I'm canceling our ticket. I'm going to get a new apartment. I'm going to do something for me and my family. And then called him to let him know. And he got all pissed off about it. I was like, good for you. And what did she say? Well, why don't you stop spending money on your bike or something like that and start, send a pair of socks or buy us the plane tickets. And he's like, well, that's another situation. She's like, oh, now it's another situation. I'm like, yeah, this guy's kind of a deadbeat.
I agree, because I love the fact that she pointed out that he spent $3,000 American dollars to fix his bike. And I get it. He probably needs his bike to get to work, but that's a lot of money. And you're not even sending diapers. He's not showing any sort of effort. No one's saying for you to send thousands of dollars, but show some effort. And I like the fact that she canceled those tickets, because 3 tickets to South Africa is not cheap.
Do you have to pay for an infant when they fly?
I don't know about, probably not for the infant, but 1 ticket to South Africa is expensive.
Right.
Well, maybe not during a pandemic.
Did she pay the $3,000 for his bike?
Say again?
Did she pay the $3,000?
No, he did. He had spent that money, and she was like, well, you had money for that. Why can't you send money for something else? And she's not asking for a lot. I don't think Tiffany's asking for a lot. She's trying to take care of 2 kids on her own, and you're in South Africa relaxing. So she's working and taking care of the kids.
And then he also belittles her by asking her, "What do? You don't work that hard." It's like, how the hell do you know? You're in South Africa. You don't know what she does here. And not only that, it doesn't matter if she's a stay-at-home mom at this point and she's working off of social media. It's if she's taking care of 2 kids, I couldn't even imagine. When I was staying at Pop's house in California, my uncle Kyle, he has 2 kids, and one he has a beautiful little new baby that's 7 months old, and then a 3.5-year-old. And the 3.5-year-old, love him. He has a lot of energy, and he gets really excited, and he's so much fun. But he, like kids, they go from the beginning of the day to the end of the day, and then the baby's crying, and she has to have her diaper changed. And I'm watching my uncle, and I'm like, dude, you're like super dad. I don't know how the hell you do this. This is crazy. I mean, I wouldn't have the patience for it. And like, well, you learn the patience after you have kids, fall in love with your kids. I don't think there's a reason God made me gay, because I don't think that I was meant to have kids by accident or anything like that. I wasn't meant to have them. I don't have patience for it. I sometimes don't even have patience for my animals. I love them, but sometimes I'm like, the hell is going on here? For her, getting back to it, I feel like that's kind of bullshit that he's belittling her like that.
But the same thing, first of all, she's raising 2 kids, but even the social media, this as well, being here on YouTube, this is work too. Even if you're doing sponsored posts and things like that, that's a job. And that does take up a lot of your energy. And that's not a 9 to 5 where you're able to like check off and be like, all right, I'm done with that. And kids aren't a 9 to 5. So I feel for her. I honestly think she did make the same mistake that she mentioned that in the last episode, that she feels like she's making the same mistake that she did with her son's father, now with Ronald. I think she's doing the best that she can. And I think it's part of the reason why she decided to do 90 Day again, was to at least bring in some sort of money, because he's not giving anything.
Right.
Allegedly. We don't know. We're only seeing her side of things. But based on that video chat that they had, I didn't hear him say, I sent you money, I sent you diapers. He didn't say that.
See, I mean, this wasn't an Andrew and Amira, like they want to talk at different times when they're both not in the room. This was like they had a full-on conversation, and he had the opportunity to be like, what are you talking about? I've sent you this, and I've helped out with this before. No, like you said, he didn't say any of that. So I think whatever she said, honestly, I think she's giving us the truth. You're making me start to like her a little bit more. And this, I guess you're right. It's not pre-produced. This is a very real situation. It doesn't feel like they have to pull teeth here, because it is sort of this tumultuous, like effed up relationship. And she obviously loves the man. She has a baby with the man. Her son loves the man.
Yeah.
So
it's a tough situation.
Yeah. These are real life problems.
we actually have a real story, and you couldn't stand her.
Hey, I'm still catching up on sleep here, man. Okay.
And catching up on these shows. My God.
Oh my gosh. Sometimes I feel like I can't keep up. I was telling Jason, over the last 2 weeks, my life has been in limbo. So today, starting off my day the way that I'm used to in a routine, I was like, this is so nice. But as much as I enjoyed my 2 weeks, it's nice to get back to like real everyday life.
Yeah.
Okay, so 90 Day, we talked about Angela and Michael. We talked about Brandon and Julia. We talked about Tiffany and Ronald. We talked about Mike and Natalie. We talked about Libby and Andrei. And we talked about Yara and Jovi. I believe those are the 6 couples, right?
And Kalani and Asuelu, did we say that?
And Kalani and Asuelu, yeah.
That's a lot of couples.
That's a lot of, I mean, I feel like it's a lot to keep up with. But honestly, at least the 2 hours, it feels like they go by fast because we're bouncing. And it's like, okay, I'm invested. And
if you have Discovery Plus, you get to see the episodes on Fridays and without commercials.
Do you?
Yeah.
I think Pops has a password for Discovery.
If you try to get ahead of the game, I watched it on. Well, I tried to watch on Friday, but I ended up watching part of it yesterday. Well, not yesterday, Saturday.
I was thinking maybe I could do that and then just do my videos earlier, but then that wouldn't be fun for people who don't have Discovery Plus because they haven't seen it, so they wouldn't even be joining us. So,
well, at least you have the videos ready.
That's true. Okay. All right. Well, with that, we've been on for almost 45 minutes. I appreciate everybody being in the room. Guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. Before we go, I always like to see what we're looking forward to the most from the upcoming episodes. What are you looking forward to most?
Honestly, Angela is saving the season for me. She's carrying the season on her broad back. Well, used to be broad back. She's lost a lot of weight since then. I'm looking forward to. I would love it if Angela could make it to Nigeria during this season, but I don't think that's going to happen.
That's not happening.
I wouldn't mind seeing Tiffany go to South Africa and see how that will play out, but I'm a little scared of Ronald, so I'm not sure if I really want to see them together.
Yeah.
He seems a little angry.
Yeah.
Other than that, who else? Well, I am looking forward to Asuelu's mother and sister fighting it out, maybe an actual head-to-head situation. But the other couples I'm not that invested in or interested in. But you never know. The 90 Day producers know best, usually. But based on last season of 90 Day Fiance, I'm not too keen on a Yara and Jovi or a Brandon and Julia storyline.
No, I agree with you. Honestly, I think I'm probably looking forward to the most Asuelu and his family coming back into the situation and seeing what that dynamic looks like, because we know it's a tumultuous relationship and situation. So it's just like a volcano waiting to erupt. And
do you think she's gonna ask for more money? The mom?
Yeah, of course she is. Of course she is.
You're buying a house? Money? Give me money.
She's like, why you don't give me money when I ask for you? You're my son. And then the sister's like, you need to give money. I love that Kalani's like, why don't you take your ass to work? What are you doing? Why you need to give money? But Kalani's the only voice of reason here.
Well, don't sleep on the small sister, because it'll be the ones you least expect that will come out. So
I listen, after this episode, I don't think anybody's sleeping on Kalani. I think that she's the kind that she's very level-headed. She keeps it together, but she's one of those people that when they snap, it's not going to be cute. So, and her sister is in the dramatic moment that happens with Asuelu's family. So this is going to be
good. I'm looking forward to their storyline.
Yeah, me too. All right. Well, Kempire, before we go, I just wanted to acknowledge again, thank you so much for following through. Like you said, these are your words. You didn't Garcelle us, but we love Garcelle, and she actually paid her charity too. But thank you. I know that you said you were going to match the donations from Pops Popping Off on Pop Culture, and you did that. So we appreciate you. Can you let us know where we can find you before we go?
Of course. Everyone can find me on the Kempire Daily YouTube channel, where you get daily and consistent hot topics in music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. And of course, my podcast, Kempire Radio.
Wow, it's like you had that written down ready to go.
I say it all the time in my videos, so it's just like...
It's right there. I always start off my videos and like, hey guys, what's up? You're watching Up and Adam. And for those of you who don't know me, and the first comment I always get every time, they're like, stop with your stupid ass intro. I'm like, no, now it's like, I can't even start a video without it because it comes off the tongue. So sorry guys, just fast forward.
It's always that one person. You can't listen to the one person.
Or fast forward like 30 seconds, you'll get through it. And now we have a sign, so maybe it'll make it better. I don't know. But Kempire, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you. And if you're around tomorrow, we're going to be going live with RJ Allen talking about Real Housewives Atlanta. And the latter half of that, we're going to have on Femtaro. Of course, I know that you've done a few videos with Femtaro too. So if you're around, we would love to have you join us.
Of course, I definitely will.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow, Kempire.
All right.
Bye. Guys, again, before we go, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button, show some love. I'm back in my element. We have the sign finally up. Shit's happening. So I guess we'll just see you soon. And thank you guys for all the love and support for Pops. I love you guys back. He loves you guys back. And he can't wait to come back on Friday. See you then. Bye, guys. Bye.